don't you open up your arm and say, come and partner with our government and deal with these terrorists? You will see the video that took place just last year or so, if I remember, of the American missionary that was taken by these terrorists, and they demanded 1 million. If not, they will kill him. America sent in their men from America, and they rescued this missionary unhurt. That is just one citizen. How can we be losing tens of thousands and we're politicking, talking all kinds of foolishness and nonsense over the lives of people, blaming, oh, it is not only Christian, it is Muslims also. So are we competing on the number of dates? The reality is that Christians were the first. Christians were being massacred based on their faith. There is a video you're going to see, and I challenge the chief of defense staff who came out to say there is no persecution of Christians in Nigeria. You're a liar. You're a liar. Just look at this video. This is something that happened day before yesterday in a church that was demolished in Maiyegun. Just yesterday. We experienced one some few months ago. And I am asking the Borno State government to act on this matter. We will not take it lightly. We are all citizens in this country. You are living in a land where you as a Christian, you are not at liberty with certain, let me use the word, extremist Islamic worshippers. The killers that are killing the Muslims now, who are they? Are they Jews? Are they Americans? Are they not Muslims? Are they not terrorist Muslims? So why don't the Islamic Council come after them and say, look, it's time we go after people that are destroying our image and destroying our faith? You will never see any Christian attacking any community, not anywhere. Listen to this. I'm going to read it. Gumi tells Tinubu to cut ties with the US if Trump fails to withdraw military threat. Look at this Gumi. Listen to what this Gumi said some time ago on the Guardian News. He said, allow bandits to guard our forests for peace to reign. Shegumi says, allow bandits to guard our forests. So you tell me you don't know the people that are brain behind those bandits, those Fulani killer headsmen? Let me read another one by Pantami, the former minister. Listen to what he said on People's Gazette. He said, Boko Haram terrorists are our Muslim brothers. Shouldn't be killed like pigs, Minister Pantami said. Boko Haram terrorists are our Muslim brothers. Do you hear? Let me read what the Sultan said. The Sultan is the one that is the head of Magma. The Sultan is the head of Mayati Allah. So the Sultan can stop this genocide, this killing. Just what happened day before yesterday in Kano. They can stop it. Listen to what Sultan said. You fight Almighty Allah when you fight Boko Haram, Sultan of Sokoto. You fight Almighty Allah when you fight Boko Haram. Now, these are the people. And now they are spreading the news around the north that, oh, it is war against Muslims. It is no war against Muslims. The people that are being massacred or killed as Muslims in the far north are people who resist these evil terrorists, evil men. So I will advise President Tinubu, align with President Donald Trump. Let them support you. Let us deal with this matter once and for all. The quality is too much. All right? It's too much. No one Nigeria needs to die. Look at Chad. Chad has blocked our borders. Chad has blocked our borders not to allow these terrorists to enter. We here in Nigeria, we are negotiating with terrorists. We are negotiating. Look at the soldier that we lost now, just day before yesterday, that were escorting a member of the House of Representatives. Look at the one that happened in Niger. Look at the one that happened in Katsina. Why are we just let me use the word, going around and denying the facts? This genocide is real. I have all the documents. I can show you the site. The persecution of Christians in certain locations in the north is real. Let's not deny it. It's real. There are certain universities in the north. A Christian will not be given, the admission to study medicine.
There are so many systemic madness that have been allowed to sort of like lasted or festered this long, that they have become part of the rubbish that the fake one Nigeria exhibit. Nigeria is not one country. Don't get me wrong. You probably want to be, but the process of becoming one country doesn't exist in Nigeria. So we have always been the creation of the external interest. And as some will say, we remain the victims of the neo-colonialism, the victims of the same external influence, not without the local collaborators who look like me and you, speaks like me and you, walks like me and you, dresses like me and you, and yet they still collude with this external interest to deny us the true citizenship. Nigerians don't have real citizenship. You're a country that is governed by two laws, one national law and one Islamic law, in which there are those who are extremists, who are using the same instrument of violence to push the narrative of the supremacy of their religion. And this exists. People have been killed because of their religion. Yes. And Muslims have been killed too by the same fanatics because they resisted, like he said, or they are considered as people who are not practicing the same Islam like them. We've had all those records anyway. So what is the government doing about it? They gloss over it. They continue to spend money on this false campaign of this national patriotism, while what they are saying is completely different from what they are doing. And there is so much that people can take for so long. Right now, the tragedy of this whole thing is that more than half of Nigerians, home and abroad, actually want this to happen. That's the tragedy of this whole thing. I am not saying a lot of you don't feel so strong about this. However, no matter how you feel about it, just know that more than half of everyone that identified as Nigerian actually want this to happen. This is the kind of cover-up that they have taken away or denied us while we were growing up. They made us believe that by just existing as this Nigerian, right, gives you the citizenship and rights until you grow up and realize that you've got nothing. Nothing. Right before your very eyes, you are seeing your own government prioritizing terrorists, talking about them on TV. Your president is defending terrorists, giving reasons why the only ways and means to peace is to placate the terrorists. Right before your very eyes. You are supposed to be the citizens. You see or you watch your own fellow citizens languishing in dilapidated, structures because they have been chased away from their homes. You feel indifferent and all of that. I mean, come on. How do you then think you are a citizen of a country? You are a citizen of the privilege you have right now until it is taken away from you. Then you will realize that Nigeria is not real. I mean, I've seen that many times. Those who once felt like those of us who are pointing these things out were just either ignorant or stupid or just, I don't know, they've called us different names until Nigeria happens to them or to somebody they know and they change tone. And that is also the tragedy. The tragedy that Nigerians are willing, right, to join hands with the external interest or the external or foreign force to go after not only the terrorists, maybe an opportunity to go after the rotten system in general. In case if you are not reading the pulse of the people, I'm telling you now that there are those who are saying that if it leads to war in Nigeria, they will fight on behalf of the United States of America in their own country. That is the tragedy of what this APC have done to Nigeria. So don't look around and think people reacting this way just arrived here overnight. They didn't. You have ignored it for so long. You've got their bluff. You've laughed at them. You've mocked them. You felt so invincible until you are outed. Now, this is the outing time. Whether they label it a Christian genocide, Muslim genocide, or Nigerian genocide, the thing is this. It's an opportunity to expose the criminals who have been colluding with them, spending your money to train, rehabilitate terrorists, while their victims are wasting away in these places called the refugee camps. Have you ever seen any of them before? These criminals were so cold-hearted that at a point, they actually bombed these same IDP camps. Yes, they did. Nigerian Air Force bombed the IDP camp in Ran in Borno 3 times, not once, not twice, 3 times. They said they thought they were the gathering of a terrorist. Meanwhile, it was during the investigation of a missing or stolen money meant for the same rehabilitation of the internally displaced Nigerians. Babashir Lawal spent 242 million naira clearing grass around a dilapidated abandoned school where hundreds of people were camping at the time. That was what he said. This investigation was what led them to what they call the cover-up, where over 14 billion naira disappeared in the name of fixing the victims of Boko Haram in the early days of Boko Haram's government. This happened. It was a big scandal. In order to cover it up, Nigerian Air Force colluded with the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babashir Lawal. They went to run. They didn't just bomb these victims who escaped the Boko Haram terrorism. They bombed those who came to help them. Health workers, charity organizations, those who came to sympathize with them, they were bombed to mysteries. There was no arrest. There was no investigation. It was just passed on. That is the collusion of your government. Horrible, horrible things where people have been like bombed in their own homes, right? In the villages, simply because they just wanted to and they'll come back and say, oh yeah, it was a mistake. Nigerian Air Force bombed a wedding. This one wasn't even like a Christian gathering. It was a gathering of Muslims who were doing wedding in that same northern Nigeria. They bombed them twice, because they said they were Boko Haram. So all this madness have shown that it is either they intentionally remain incompetent or they have become so compromised that Nigerian army has become the danger to the country, a threat to national security. Now it needs to purge itself. You get that now? Like they need to purge themselves of any of this foreign infiltration, which originally is the cause. They are the cause. The rehabilitated terrorists. They put them in their military. Who does that? Other than a terror-enabling regime, which indeed is what APC represents. What's the rest of this?
The admission to study medicine. You can't build church. This is a land that belongs to all of us. You build church, they come and demolish it. You say there's no persecution. Let's not be lying to ourselves. Mutena kariyama kamu. Arewa mune damuwa kamu. Sai ranar da muka yadda cewa zamu amshi gaskiya. Gaskiya ita ce gaskiya. Kuma gaskiya guda ɗaya ce. Kashe-kashe nan da yake tafiya. Yawanci senators namu, members of the house, governor a nan arewa sun sani. Kun san abin da kuke yi. Sultan ya san abin da yake faruwa. Ya san cewa yana da iko ya siyar da wani abin da ke tafiya. Sai mu zo na muna rudin kanmu cewa America za su zo yake musulmai. Ina ne ko gani America ta yake musulmai? America tana da base ɗinta a Saudi Arabia. America tana da base ɗinta a United a Qatar. America tana da bases ɗinta a kasan musulmai. Ina ko gani? Abin da shi tona turbe ce, wai ne ‘yan ta'adda za mu zo gwamnatin Najeriya ba za ta yi komai ba, za mu zo mu kashe wayannan mutane. Me muke nema? Muna nema a cikin wani kashe mana mutane? Wani rana ne za mu yi hankali a nan arewa? Duk talauci da yake nan, duk wahalar jama'a, duk wani mutane suke fuskanta. Sai a dan ana bar malamai suna siye akan pulpit, akan magari suna ta magana banza kawai. Wai arne kaza, nonsense. Nonsense. This evil, you must stop it. You must stop this evil in the north of Nigeria. Let's face the truth, okay? The life of one person, my Muslim brothers, my Christian sisters, whether it is an enemy, is very important. You don't have the right to be killing people, to grab their land. Right now, I want to admonish the government of Nigeria, all the communities that have been, the people have been sent away, and the terrorists are living there. And prove to Nigerians that you're ready to clean up. Those villages are occupied by the terrorists. You know those places. Let's stop lying to ourselves. Let's stop lying to ourselves. And I want to admonish every Nigerian. We must all stand with one voice. The killing of Christians is not glorious. The killing of Muslims is not glorious. But we must face the fact. We must face the fact. All of these Islamic clerics that are fueling more fire, deceiving people with deception, we must close them. Nigerian government, you need them, go after them, burn them, and then these things will come to an end. They are breeding wickedness and they are breeding terrorists in the form of Al-Majri. While the moderate Muslims will not be allowed to survive, the moderate Muslims will not be allowed to stand. If they do anything, they come after them and kill them. We must stop this. And you, government, you know it. You have the next with you. And so I call on Nigerians. On the 29th, we shall gather in different locations and pray and lift up our nation. And we are calling.
Okay. We'll leave you to that. Happy praying. But indeed, it's been like that for quite some time now. Like, he's not an emergency person talking about this. He may not have the kind of gathering like all those bigger pulpit bandits. But he's been very, very, very outspoken on this matter. Yeah. And right now, they are among those who will welcome an arrangement where people can protect themselves. So let me remind you of something. Okay. And that is, what do you think may likely happen? I've mentioned that earlier, right? I'm going to repeat it. America is not coming to invade Nigeria. I want to believe. But there is a world invasion in part of what they are planning, invading the northern Nigeria where these terrorists are holding sway. So, and others are believing that this is going to trigger something else and all that. Fine. What is likely going to happen then is that, well, if Nigeria doesn't break up, if this whole thing if this whole thing becomes kind of like escalated, right? If Nigeria doesn't break up, there is now going to be a chance of a proper legislation that is going to demarcate the Sharia north, where they are, where they can practice their Sharia, their blasphemy, and the rest of that. From the Middle Beltans and other Christian sort of like, lands around the area, they could get demarcated completely. Not only would they be demarcated in the new restructured Nigeria, there is now going to be a law that allows all of us to defend ourselves truly. You get what I mean now? So there is a chance that the Middle Beltans will become the first part of Nigeria that will be armed by the Americans because of their faith. Do you get me now? They are Christians identified as that, and they are at the frontal part of, the priority of the American mission if they come and do what they want to do in Nigeria. So that simply means the Middle Beltans for the first time will be the first set of part of Nigeria that will have the chance to bear arms and defend themselves because of this. So America could do that, I'm just saying. Which simply means that the jihadists themselves will now realize that to cross over to the southern part of Nigeria, they will really need to go in circle. They will need to go through Cameroon and come through Bakassi to enter the south, or go through Benin Republic, Burkina Faso, Benin Republic, and find their way to the west. Middle Belt will become a complete fortress backed by the Americans. That is possible. Yeah. And when that happens, it is also going to motivate the rest of the part of Nigeria then. And the next, who have kind of been working on it anyway, will be the Biafrans. If the Middle Beltans becomes armed to defend themselves. It's not like Middle Beltans or Christians are going to go and kill anybody. Don't get me wrong. It just means that if you are not going to enter any village, no matter how small the village is, in the Middle Belt part of Nigeria, to attack them, you won't live alive. None of you will live. you get what I mean? That is possible. So the Biafrans will get armed. This time, all the political blockade and everything that has held that part of the Nigeria back, which is political, right, will begin to kind of like untangled. Again, go sit back and think or reflect on what I've just said. Because if America shoots the first bomb in any part of Nigeria, that is going to change everything. And that then comes to us in Yoruba land. So those of you who have been very much antagonistic of the idea of a self-rule, simply because of Tinubu will become irrelevant very soon if this whole thing escalates. It will become irrelevant. At that point, it will likely even be lucky to be alive again if this escalates. So where would the Yoruba be? Who would